There is a secret object on Donald Trump's desk, and it is the darkest thing in that whole gaudy room. He has a self-destruct option. There is a lethal option on his desk for whenever he's finally done. And Trump's darkest move has been caught on tape. So I'm sorry or you're welcome to report this, but Trump has a button on his desk that is going to end his life. Yes, this is an apocalypse level lethal desk accessory. And we have Kai Trump to thank for this discovery.
Welcome into my house.
She uploaded a White House vlog all innocently to YouTube and panned right past her grandfather's permanent exit strategy, his exit strategy from this life and planet. And he's not going wherever Elon is building. The headline drop, it might be more within reach than we think, like literally within reach of that rotting orange stained hand of Donny McDump, because this item is the equivalent of an ejection seat from his life. The kind of thing you only keep at your little stubby, fat-fingered arm's reach if somewhere in the back of your mind, you've already imagined the worst case scenario and when you're probably finally going to be done. So we know something's always going sideways. But when there's finally no more sideways to go, when all the MAGA folk have dissipated and gone back to their small, weird bumblefuck towns where they can go be racist in peace elsewhere, and there's no hellscape hatch left, this might be his last move. It's dark. Yes, it's very dark, or very hopecore, depending on which color jersey you're wearing today, but it's almost too bizarre to believe. So I'm going to show you the literal video that Kai Trump accidentally uploaded and included.
All right, well, there's really nothing special right now.
Because this proves when it all goes down, when shit really hits the fan, we're just one slam away from the best day ever. And real quick, if you're new here, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is sitting behind me. Today's episode is dedicated to Mitch McConnell, who may or may not have already taken his final tumble. So today we're going to pause to honor a legacy built on treating American democracy like a stolen car that he was ready to sell for cheap parts. Mitch McConnell, in his crowning achievement, is inventing a fake rule to steal Supreme Court seats. He created this rule, then years later ignored those rules to set us up with conservative justices that will ruin our lives for generations long after he's somewhere on a Trump golf course. This man dedicated his very, 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 almost too long of a life to rejecting all forms of progress. He proudly calls himself the Grim Reaper of legislation. And boy, was he. His legacy will remain one of running the federal government like that of a bricked smartphone. And most impressive of all, between all the tumbles, between all the freezing in the middle of being asked about legitimate legislation, he pulled all of this horror off with the blank stare of a doped up turtle escaping the zoo. The dent he left in this republic will never buff out. And may he be next on the big guy in the skies wait list. Before we get into the Trump final hurrah, we got to begin with one of the dumbest federal priorities in American history, shall we? Police have released footage of a woman allegedly dipping her hand into the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool after it mysteriously turned green with algae, just days following a $16 million renovation by a mobster. What could go wrong? And now U.S. Park Police are asking the public to identify a woman who briefly reached into the reflecting pool. You're kidding me. Believe it or fucking not, the administration is literally trying to identify a woman who about a week ago briefly dipped her hand into the reflecting pool for 8 seconds before walking away. They're releasing surveillance images because the whole place is surveilled as fuck, asking the public for help, treating this like a high-profile investigation, almost like we don't have any other investigations like the Schmepstein cases to look into. And this has nothing to do with anything. Let's just be so clear. Somehow, also, I gotta say, she's clearly a lib. She's clearly a leftist if they're going after her. Let's just compare this to the Schmepstein investigation, shall we? They can identify a random person who touched a reflecting pool for 8 seconds, but not one person connected to Schmepstein. The Schmepstein investigation has produced 0 arrests. The reflecting pool, 6, including an Olympic athlete and a 67-year-old same person, Olympic athlete and 67-year-old man riding his bike for double-digit miles. This really shows you what this administration wants to prove and who they want behind bars. And it's not Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's down there eating. RFK Jr., I'm sure, is taking that algae and injecting it straight into his eyes. It's, if I had to guess. But again, not a single arrest connected to one of our biggest drug trafficking scandals in American history. That's the disconnect we should all be pissed about. So people are now showing Epstein and Trump photos edited into a piece of the reflecting pool sealant. The internet never disappoints. While our government will always disappoint, the internet, they got us. Speaking of things that make absolutely no fucking sense, JD Vance is also now referring to his wife as a woman who is now the second lady of the United States and 36 weeks pregnant with baby number 4.
And so the woman who is now the second lady of the United States and 36 weeks pregnant with baby number 4. Thank you.
Yes, he's not even calling her his wife. Clearly, these two have never met before. If I was a betting woman, I'd be willing to bet they've never seen each other nude. Pretty damn sure of that. Really, that's how I want my future person to talk about their love for me, like an object, like a title.
Vice President of the United States, JD Vance. Thanks for joining us today, honey.
Of course. Good to see you.
So every time JD Vance tries to like be human or like have any riz, he somehow manages to make things so much worse and less human. Some of these comments still amazes me that JD got Usha pregnant while fully clothed and giggling. So then JD Vance makes it worse. He pivots into a classic redneck economic plan. My wife found a dress on clearance. So I guess Usha Vance bought a $50 Old Navy maternity dress for $8.75. That's nice. Happy for her. But also revealing how disconnected we are about millions of Americans wondering if they're ever going to get out of internment camps, if they're ever going to be able to afford rent, if they're ever going to go to school because we're dismantling Department of Ed, rolling back all the budget there, healthcare, groceries, gas. Can we get the Strait of Hormuz open? Or people don't know if they'll ever even have children in the first place. People who want to because they can't afford them. Meanwhile, the vice president's talking about Old Navy like he's just some chummy dad. Every time he talks, instead of saying something naturally or having any riz or sounding normal, like he's just having a normal conversation, he sounds so rehearsed. He and Erica Kirk have that in common. So now this is where things really start heating up. Kai Trump has become a decoy for the administration, and she's clearly a PR tool. She's young. She's less foul looking than her family. And she does something the White House can't. She presents as normal. Lately, she's been everywhere. Podcasts and creating influencer content. She's at the UFC events. So whether she means it or not, she's trying to humanize Donny McDump and make him less evil than he is. And then she also pulls in so this is a clip that came up early on in this year.
I mean, 50% of the world doesn't like me because my last name, but they don't actually know me. So I'm hoping if people actually give me a shot and not look at the last name, then I won't have any ops, but we'll see.
Look, I always say you don't choose your family. You don't choose the football team household that you were born into. If you did, I probably wouldn't be a Jets fan. So she didn't choose her grandfather, but she does choose her grandfather, and he does suck. That's actually a very generous, gentle way of putting it. And I wish when she acts like this is a big thing for her, it's wait till you learn about the families your grandfather is separating by immigration enforcement. The mothers ripped away from school pickup. He is a dick. Wait till you learn about the crips in broad daylight. Yeah, people whose lives have been upended, destroyed, killed by our government policy that your grandfather champions. So saying he sucks is the kindest way of putting it ever. So then we get to the real part. She uploads what she thinks is just an innocent little White House vlog around a UFC event and the White House lawn, all the things. Here's where it gets crazy.
Guys, welcome into my house. We're walking in. This is the main entrance of the White House. We got my best friend, George Washington. It's funny, I actually know my way pretty well around this place. It's not like I've been here for a few years.
Wait, how old were you when you first came?
That was 2017, and it's almost going to be 2027, so let's just say 10 years.
She's walking through the house like she's giving MTV Cribs, which is definitely programming that was around before she was born. And at one point, she refers to it as her house. It is the people's house. It's the White House. And I love that this got instantly community noted. Honestly, well done. Kai Trump has never lived at the White House. She is the daughter of Don Jr. and lives in Florida, where she recently graduated high school. Additionally, the presidency of Trump has not spanned 10 years. The terms ran from 2017 to 2021 and began again in 2025. They're not the brightest bunch. So this is the part where it all goes down.
All right, guys, we're in the Oval Office right now. This is his desk. That's the Declaration of Independence.
Where she, without even realizing it, she reveals the best detail of this entire tour.
And then he has a Diet Coke button. So if he presses the red button, Diet Coke comes out. I mean, that's the Oval Office. It's pretty cool.
There it is. The White House clearly thinks this is like a charming little detail. Listen, I love a DC from time to time. I'm never going to DC shame y'all for liking your Diet Cokes. However, Trump having like a fish fillet and a fountain soda button right at his desk is telling. We have some people who are part of the resistance on the inside. I know it with this because I had a different reaction here. This man has been the subject of major public scrutiny about his health. He tells us he's got the best MRI. They're naming the MRI after his level of excellence. We also know he's got the venous insufficiency. He's got the cankles diagnosis. His chody legs and limbs can't even fit into like the sock, and it looks like the hoof of an elephant. And now they're giving him an express lane for DCs for fridge cigarettes. We're rooting for the cholesterol here. We think that that is also part of the resistance. So every DC, every fridge cigarette is one day closer to him meeting Mitch McConnell in the final tumble. That is the emergency system in the Oval Office. And it's not a nuclear button, just a tiny shortcut that's keeping the cholesterol high as a kite. And if you enjoyed this video, we're going to keep digging in. We are a one woman, one dog, band of banshees over here, self-funded, bootstrapped. And we do this every day out of pure principle to keep the worst people ever humble. So subscribe, find us wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back with more.